So first is through the Tony Elumelu Foundation, which I founded in 2010. We're trying to help democratize luck, help create economic opportunities and access for our young Africans. This is born out of my realization that the future of Africa truly belongs to our startups, truly belongs to our SMEs, belongs to our young men and women who are energetic, intelligent, struggling to survive as entrepreneurs. And we decided to commit $100 million to this endeavor to support 10,000 African entrepreneurs in 10 years, which comes to 1,000 every year. And it is sector agnostic. We do this across, open to people from all over the 54 African, all across the 54 African countries. And this is, we've done 4 years now. So we have 4,000 Tony Elumelu entrepreneurs across Africa. And the assessment of this intervention can be seen in the faces and the testimonials we get from these African men and women that we have been supporting as a foundation. We hear amazing stories from them. We hear stories of how they're already transforming their communities, how they're helping to create jobs, because we know that the fight against poverty should be a multifaceted fight. It should be all-embracing. It should be government, private sector, startup or young ones, everyone fighting to address poverty. And poverty eradication starts from creating economic opportunities by providing employment for people, and by making sure that our women folk are integrated in the economic activities of the continent. And that we're trying to do through the activities of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program. Is succeeding. We're impressed with what we see so far.
And what economic sectors would you say are key if we talk about spurring entrepreneurship in Africa, creating jobs, building the skills capacity that we need? What sectors would you see? Is it agriculture? Is it banking? Is it which ones?
Honestly, for us, what we do, our intervention is sector agnostic. It can be any sector. All we don't need to do is that you have great ideas. You know, if you look at the number of people who are employed today by, say, Facebook, if anyone told us, or Google told us some decades ago, that this kind of initiative or idea will spin or create the kind of employment and economic opportunity that they have created today, we would not have believed it. So we just think the best thing to do is to open up the space and let people have great ideas. If those ideas make sense, we'll support them. But what we see from those who apply for the Tony Elumelu Entrepreneurship Program is that there's a lot of interest in agriculture by young Africans, which is also good because we have arable land, cultivable land in Africa, and seeing our young ones show interest in agriculture is very encouraging. Over 30% of the beneficiaries of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program are in the agri sector. So 30% of 4,000 people so far will tell you that it's a huge number that we already have in Africa going into farming. We just want them to succeed. If they succeed, they will not only help to feed their communities or Africa, we can actually help the world address food security issue. And that is the ultimate objective. Another area that is growing in terms of interest from the application that we see is in the area of ICT, technology, media, entertainment, telecommunications is high. And that, again, you can see because young Africans are quite creative and innovative. In fact, with the right economic, the right opportunities, enabling opportunity environment, we can produce our own seed jobs out of Africa, and we should do so, and do so soon too. So agriculture, ICT, education sector are quite some interesting areas we are beginning to see that people are showing interest in.
All right. When you listen to the story of almost every entrepreneur in Africa, there is a challenge as part, of course, access to financing has been an issue that has been talked about quite a while. Now there is the issue of mentorship because people are realizing that seed capital or round two funding is not just the challenge. People need to know how to manage these businesses. My question is, do you get a sense that entrepreneurship in Africa is improving now? Conditions are improving?
Entrepreneurship in Africa, I think our entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, I speak from experience. Others might talk from statistics and just what they read, their theories, but from us, we have the largest data on African entrepreneurs because these guys apply to us every year. We're very close to them. We monitor their progress. 2018, we had received 151,000 applications from across the 54 African countries who want to be on the program. What we see, both in the quality of submissions by these young Africans, is that things are improving. But for us, even beyond what they apply, how they apply, we try through the Tony Elumelu Foundation Entrepreneurship Program to train them. So training has become, we have discovered that yes, capital or seed capital is important, but equally important, if not more important, is the issue of training. So we train them for 12 weeks, online 12-week training. And what the entrepreneurs tell us through the feedback mechanism we have put in place is that they even appreciate the training, the 12-week training, more than the seed capital itself, because it is the training that prepares them how to use the capital that we give to them. We don't want to waste money. We want the capital to work for the purpose intended. We want them to succeed, because their success is success to all of us in Africa. It helps us to achieve our ultimate goal of making sure that we're able to create 1 million jobs in 10 years through this program and help to create $10 billion in revenue in Africa for this program. We will not achieve this if they don't succeed. So before we give seed capital, we train them for 12 weeks, and this training has proven to be quite helpful. And we also appoint mentors for them. I like when I listen to them, and a number of them tell us how, when they are at crossroads, how mentors come forward to share experiences to help them navigate difficult times. That is the difference in what we do. We don't only just give seed capital. We train and prepare them for seed capital. We monitor, we follow their journey, and we create networking opportunities, and we also appoint mentors who help them to make sure they stay on course.
Right. On the financing bit, there has been a concern on development of private equity in Africa by Africans. But we are seeing the space of philanthropy coming in, and you are participating very strongly in this. Just give me a sense of how philanthropy is growing, and especially in funding these ideas, creating good businesses out of the ideas that are coming in.
There was a time that you didn't have African philanthropists. Almost every philanthropic intervention in Africa came from outside. Today, you're seeing philanthropists and African philanthropists from within who are trying to support humanity one way or the other. And the good thing about this development is that we come from Africa, we know the challenges we have in Africa, and we know the best way, because we live with these challenges, the best way to intervene to address this problem. I dare say that up until we started the Tony Elumelu Foundation, no one actually emphasized or paid attention or even provided this kind of seed capital for startup businesses in the manner that we have done in Africa. In fact, people even celebrate entrepreneurs who have succeeded. How about helping people to succeed before you celebrate entrepreneurs? So this grassroots type approach, I call it democratization of luck and economic access and opportunities for young Africans. That is what these young Africans do. Most people in Africa go to grave with their business ideas. We don't want this to continue to happen. We want people who have great business ideas to have the opportunity to prove their ideas while they are alive. And who knows, their ideas can actually help to turn things around. Imagine if Steve Jobs was an African at the time he lived, and he didn't have any financial opportunity to prove his concepts, all the ideas he had. He would have died with those ideas, and today the world will not have Apple that we have today. That to us is the challenge we want to correct. That's what the Tony Elumelu Foundation is trying to do. That's what I try to do. That's what we also support UBA is trying to do through the SME desk that UBA has across Africa. We know that these entrepreneurs actually can help change Africa. What they need is support of everyone.